This video will contain spoilers for The Last of Us 2, and I'll be going into why I think the story sucks for the second one for me personally. I saw the leaks months ago, and I'm known longer than most people that have played the actual game, and I know that it sucks, as well as other people that have seen it. From the game getting review bombed on Metacritic when it came out, and the false copyright strikes no one seems to mention about around the time nobody was showing the Last of Us 2 leaks. And it was just people talking about it around April about the leaks, and they got copyright struck by Sony, or believed at the time it was Naughty Dog, to silence people from talking about it, even though they didn't show any images of it in their videos, the leaks. And Naughty Dog went as far as to ban people who did memes of the leaks on Twitter. Now, mind you, there were spoilers in it, but there was some that were just in a jokeful manner, and I can't believe they outright banned people for using the memes. Anyways, whatever. The Last of Us 1 was a great story. A story about a man taking a girl halfway across the country in search of a cure for the fungal virus that turned people into zombie-like creatures in the Last of Us post-apocalypse world, and inevitably they turn into creatures called clickers. The main character of the last game, Joel, went on an adventure to take the cure of humanity that was in a girl named Ellie to a group of people called the Fireflies that can do some tests on her so they can create a cure. They get there, and this is the point that Joel has been accompanying Ellie. He's built this bond with her that feels like a part of his life when the outbreak started with the clickers, when he lost his daughter to the army. When he brings Ellie to the Fireflies, they tell Joel that in order to create the vaccine, they literally have to go into her brain, so to speak, to create a vaccine. It would kill her for them to take samples from her brain. Joel isn't having any of this. So what he does is he kills the surgeons, the people running tests on Ellie, and in his own way, Joel thinks he saved her. It was a great moral thing for Joel to do, but you could understand why Joel did it. This is an act of an anti-hero, and I don't know why some people think it's ridiculous to like a character like Joel when they bring him back in the first game. And of course he's back in the first game because people liked the bond that he had with Ellie, and it touched them. That is why he's here. He is a beloved character. That's also why other antagonists are beloved as well. Oh, no, sorry, not antagonists. Anti-heroes are loved. Characters like Kratos. We get why Kratos is doing the things he's doing. Yes, he is doing questionable, evil things, and maybe let's say God of War 2 or 3. But we get why he's doing it because he has these nightmares in his mind of his family that he once murdered in front of his face, but he was being controlled by this god, the god of war. And that's and Kratos didn't even want to do it. He was trying to serve Hades. Sorry, not Hades, Ares. But yeah, basically he was being mind controlled in that game, and then he basically was serving the gods to try to kill Ares in the first God of War and stuff like that. We get why Kratos is like that. We can sympathize with him. So hopefully you guys understand my stance on where I stand with Joel as a character. I don't think he's a good or bad guy. I think he is just he does things that are morally questionable, that could be, they are maybe perceived as bad, but they are understandable through someone who is doing something selflessly. It can be seen in their eyes as heroic, but it's also bad. Like, he befriends some people here and there, but he's trying to protect people like Tommy, his brother, in the apocalypse. Yes, he's doing bad things, and it was stated that he was doing bad things, and him and Tommy had a argument a little bit about him doing some questionable things in the past, but it was to keep him and Tommy alive. Like, let's say, for example, that the apocalypse happened in our reality, right? This fungal virus. You don't think there'd be random rapists or cannibalists, whoever bad people roaming around? You could bet your ass I'd be questionable to trust anybody around me, you know? Because honestly, there isn't a logical thing to think that there's also other people in the Last of Us world that are doing questionable moral acts or moral decisions like Joel in order to stay alive, considering there's no judicial system in the world. So, anyways, now it's time to get into The Last of Us 2 and how that story starts. So basically, 4 years pass after The Last of Us 1. It's The Last of Us 2. You play as the character Ellie, who you saved in the second game, who was the co character, like the supporting role character to Joel. And you play as her in the second game as the main character, or so you believe you do. She starts the game patrolling the town that she lives in. Outside of town, she starts patrolling outside of town with her girlfriend Dina, and later on there's this part where Joel saves this girl from almost being eaten by clickers, and this girl's name is Abby. And basically Joel and Tommy save this girl, right? And they eventually get into this building where Joel, Tommy, and Abby meet up with her group, with Abby's group. And while they're in their group, there's a guy that closes the door. Tommy and Joel introduce themselves. You know, Tommy says, "Hey, my name's Tommy. This is my brother Joel." All to Abby's group, right? And Joel introduces himself, and he says, "Hey, I'm Joel." And that's when that's when Abby and her group is like, "Oh, this is the guy. This is the guy we're after." So Abby pulls out her shotgun, shoots Joel in the fucking ankle. They shoot him like I said, she shoots him in the ankle. She brings him to the wall. They pin him to the wall. They disable his other leg, and she takes out a fucking golf club and she beats him with it. And yep. And later on, I don't know how, but Ellie finds her and finds Abby's group somehow, and she witnesses that Joel's getting beaten with the golf club. They pin her down. Ellie, as she's getting into the room, has her gun out. She tries to shoot her, but she gets pinned down. She slices a guy with her knife, but she's forced to watch as they beat Joel with a golf club. Really fucking dumb, because this is out of character for Joel. Joel has been in this post-apocalyptic world for 20 years. He's barely been able to fucking trust anybody in the last game, and he's done things just to figure out where Ellie is, you know, torturing people just to figure out where Ellie is, you know, not trusting people right away. It took him half the game in The Last of Us 1 to really trust Ellie, you know, and to really like want to go to take her to the Fireflies. It took Joel a while to really trust Ellie. But, you know, not only did Joel give away his name and where they are from, they're from Jackson, you know, where they are from, Ellie, you know, Tommy and Joel. And Joel has no problem. He's like, here's my birth certificate. My name's Joel. Yeah, I just live like 2 ways across the block, you know. You should come near me sometime. And then, oh, my leg. That's basically what happened to Joel. Not to mention what they do. So they let you play as Ellie, of course, you know, for the first 10 hours of the game. And, you know, she's going on the revenge quest to avenge Joel's death. And then, when she gets to Abby, right? She gets to Abby twice in the game. The first attempt to try to kill Abby fails. And Abby's like, "You better not come across me again," or some shit. So basically, Abby wins the first fight. But how this happens is a lot of gameplay happens before you actually fucking fight Abby. And how it happens is in the worst way possible. You basically fight. You have this fight, but you have it using Abby. So you have to play the first. You have to play a little bit more as Abby, like a few. I don't know how long, but you get to play 10 hours of Abby, and it's crazy as fuck. I've heard this ever since April, and the leaks were fucking true. It made me not even want to touch this piece of crap. Look, I don't hate anybody who likes this game. If you enjoyed this game, good for you, man. I'm not touching this game with a 10-foot pole, and I hope they don't make a sequel to this shit. And I'm not surprised it's selling well either. It's a sequel to one of the most critically acclaimed games from the gen before the PS4. On the PS3, of course it gets a fucking sequel. It did fucking well the first game. So, of course, they're gonna go, oh, money. We have the opportunity to make money. Let's make a sequel to the bitch. Of course they're gonna fucking do it. And of course it sells well. Because, you know, people are gonna buy it, people are gonna play it. Or whether they like it or not, you know, the game is gonna sell well. Obviously, because it's a sequel to one of the most critically acclaimed games ever, like I've said. But Ellie, basically, when you get to play as Abby, Ellie meets Abby, right? She has Tommy at gunpoint. She meets her at the aquarium, and basically Abby comes back and she's like, "You killed all my friends. You wasted the chance that I gave you when I spared your life." Then it cuts to black. It goes to Abby when she was a kid, 4 years earlier, before the events of, you know, the whole Jackson thing where Abby shoots Joel. They do a flashback with her. This is it's a flashback of Abby when she's a kid and she's hanging out with her dad. They free a deer from this like fence that is injured it. It shows us the turmoil or the difficult decision that Abby's father had to make in order to do the surgery on Ellie. He was one of the surgeons that was doing surgery on Ellie, because she was the key, Ellie, to curing the virus, for the fungal virus, the clickers and stuff. And on the whole Joel saving her and killing all the surgeons. So basically Abby is a daughter to one of the surgeons, and that's why she killed Joel. Now they make us play as Abby. They do this whole flashback thing, and not only that, they make us play as her 3 days during the events of the whole Seattle incident, and it's fucking ridiculous, man. I can't believe this shit. And they try to make you sympathize for Abby. I've seen tons of gameplay for this shit. Look, obviously the game looks phenomenal, gameplay-wise, you know. Gameplay-wise, it's probably more so of the first game. They added new dodge. They made I don't know why, but they made a big deal about the jump button they added in, but whatever with that. They added a rope mechanic. The gameplay, obviously, you know, they added some stuff to it. It's probably a bit fun. You know, I wasn't ever amazed by The Last of Us 1's gameplay. Not saying that game is a masterpiece compared to this game, but I liked the first game's story. I never replayed it, but I did like its story. It was good. It was a game, I'll admit, one and done, but it was a good experience. It was nice. I can't believe where they took the second game, man. And not only that, after you do, I don't know, maybe a couple of hours of gameplay with Abby, then you meet up again at the part where she's at the aquarium and she has Tommy at gunpoint. Somehow she shoots Tommy in the eye. He survives, or somebody shoots him in the eye. He survives. Abby runs after Ellie and they have a boss fight. Abby wins. You're using Abby, right? This is the time where you're using Abby during her 10-hour session that you're playing her. So she beats Ellie into a fucking pulp. Her eyes are bleeding. Her nose is bleeding. She has Dina she has a knife around Dina's throat. Ellie is telling her, please don't kill her. And then Abby's like, okay, alright. Don't come around my face again, bitch. And then she takes her buddy Lev and they stroll out of the fucking room. And then you play some more Abby or some shit. And this is how the game ends, by the way. Ellie, all right. So they at some point after you're done playing as Abby's section, she gets captured by these cannibalists that string her up like she's fucking Jesus Christ, and they do this to her best friend or somebody she's looking after called Lev, all right. And they cut to Ellie, and you play the last bit of the game as Ellie, and then Ellie's like, okay. You see like a cutscene of Ellie. Tommy's there. He's holding Ellie's Dina's baby, Ellie's girlfriend's baby, and Ellie's like, okay, you know what? First, something clicks in her mind, and she's like, you know what? I'm gonna go exact revenge on her again, Abby. So she leaves behind Dina. She leaves behind her baby, and she leaves behind Tommy, and then she goes after Abby. Alright, so she goes after Abby. She sees Abby like basically crucified, right? She can pull down the crucifix and basically pull it down, stab the bitch like she's fucking Freddy Krueger or some shit. But she's like, no, I'm gonna free Abby. So she frees Abby. I know, right? She frees Abby. Abby effectively by Ellie freeing her. She then frees her buddy Lev, and then they go to this raft. Basically Ellie follows Abby. Abby's like, hey, look, follow me. There's like some rafts that you can take so you can get the fuck out of here. So Abby leads Ellie to the rafts, or these boats that they can escape on, and then so Ellie follows her. Then as Abby is taking Lev, she puts him on the boat or whatever. Then Abby's like, then Ellie behind her is like, look, I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna kill you now. So basically, she has a knife. She wants to fight Abby. Abby accepts only after she threatens Lev's life towards Abby, right? Ellie is like, look, you better fight me, or I'm gonna kill this fucking kid right here. She has like the knife at his neck or some shit. And then they fight. They have this drawn out fight. Ellie has Abby. He's drowning this bitch. And then she sees like, alright, there's some point as Ellie is kicking Abby's ass. Ellie is effectively winning the fight. She kicks her into the water, Ellie. And as Ellie is trying to drown Abby, her hand, Ellie, is near Abby's mouth, so she bites off Ellie's finger, and then her fucking fingers are gone. Like her pinky and her other shit, both her fingers are gone. And then as Ellie is like, oh, you bit my finger and shit, so I'm gonna try to drown your shit. Then she gets anime flashbacks to Joel, and somehow this doesn't fucking want her to kill Abby, and then Ellie lets her go. And then Abby and Lev leave. That's the end of the game. So fucking trash, man. So fucking trash. If I were you, or anybody who's watching this, long drawn out, and a little bit of this was scripted, but then I just went off the deep end and I went into a huge rant. Yeah. Anyways, if you watch this, that was my thoughts on The Last of Us 2. At least story-wise. I haven't played this fucking game, but I know that there's some elements to be enjoyed. Obviously, you can tell that there's quality by just looking at The Last of Us 2. Obviously, it's one of the best looking games on the PlayStation 4, but this story is so fucking stupid. But yeah, guys, yeah, this is The Last of Us 2. If you guys are still thinking about buying this game, let me know in the comments. But yeah, that was me talking about The Last of Us 2. Yeah, I'll see you guys later on the next video. Peace.